Overseas gold storage. I believe there are opportunities for people who have gone through the simplified naturalization process, other processes to become Hungarian citizens, or just regular Hungarian citizens should consider if you're going to diversify yourself overseas. So let's talk about 4 places that I think you should consider as a Hungarian citizen in today's video. Okay, so gold, it's this kind of James Bond movie mystery gold bars. So let's first talk about what gold is, what gold isn't. Gold is not an investment in the terms of Apple, Google, Netflix. It's not going to compete with those kind of investments because that's not its place in your portfolio. Its place in your portfolio is next to your euros, next to your dollars, next to your pesos. That's where you should think about gold. It's another form of money. It's government insurance. If stuff hits the fan in the Eurozone, you don't have to really worry about, even though Hungary doesn't use the euro, you don't have to worry about it because you're holding gold. If there's a crazy devaluation going on, you still have that 1 ounce of gold. Whether Brussels does something crazy, US does something crazy, you'll still have that 1 ounce of gold that you can convert back into fiat once all the craziness goes away. So it's not really an investment in terms of it's going to make you rich. It's a way to preserve emergency savings. Some things I tell my friends are like, hey, you probably want to have a quarter to half an ounce per every member of your family. So if you need to get a plane ticket, a bus ticket, you'd be able to do it rather quickly because gold is easily convertible back into fiat. So that's where it's placed in your portfolio. It's not really a true investment. In this video, I'm doing Hungarians because I'm going through the process of simplified naturalization. So see us stuck, everyone. Hopefully, the Most High willing, my process goes off without a hitch. So this is for people who are Hungarian, who are in the process of getting their citizenship, or are Hungarian dual citizens. So a lot of the people who have done the process are European. So I'm going to do it from a perspective where you're trying to diversify away from being a double European. So the list isn't necessarily the best. It's the best 3. 4 is like a bonus. And for somebody who is Hungarian and needs to diversify away themselves from the EU, diversify themselves away from the European Union or Europe, so to speak. So the first one is one I recommended to my Jamaican family, is Singapore. Singapore to me is a jurisdiction that is number one, a beautiful wealth haven. I don't think they really are going to mess with like wealthy people. I think Singapore understands where their bread is buttered. They want to be the wealth haven of the East. So I think that's what I just said. Did you hear what I said at the end? The East. The East is a place that is, of course, China might not be your best friend. I don't know what you think about China, but it's definitely in a different sphere of influence. It's not really being influenced by Brussels or the United States. So you have a way of, they have accounts that you can open today. You can fund the account and probably have the gold in your account by tomorrow. So it's a place that's easy to use. If you want sexy, they have the sexy over there. You can go over there and you can see the like the James Bond style like vaults with like the eye scanners. If that's the type of stuff that you're into, you can get into that. They have ones that are more convenient. This is actually a little bit of an upgrade for my Jamaican family because Hungary and the European countries where a lot of the people did the naturalization is a lot closer to Singapore. So the flight is going to be a little bit cheaper. The flight is going to be a little bit, you're closer to your money. So I think ease of opening an account, you don't need a lot. You can buy like a couple silver coins. That's what I started with, one of the accounts that I was looking at over there. A couple silver coins just to test it out. You can buy it with digital currencies. If your privacy is kind of your thing, I think they accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin still. So there's that, if you're sitting on that. The storage fees are the best out of all the places that I'm going to list that I could find. Storage fees are amazing. service is amazing, and you're storing it outside your country. So if something happens in Hungary, something happens in the EU, you, in theory, could go over there and pick it up, or you could sell it. And this is going to be in the part 2 where I talk about bank accounts. You could sell that, wire it to your bank account in another country, and you're back to moving. It didn't really, whatever was going on didn't really affect you. But I think it's a safe place to store your gold outside of the doomsday stuff. Safe place, good fees, and I think it's a jurisdiction in the foreseeable future that's going to be very wealth friendly, which is a good place you want to be if you're going to start storing some wealth. So I think that's my number one recommendation for people who are interested in getting into overseas gold storage. It's going to be Singapore. And that was for the same recommendation for Jamaica. It's just such a good jurisdiction. So number 2 is going to be the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands are a place with SWP Cayman. I think you can open an account today as well. I like the Caymans for the Hungarians who are in the position that I'm in, because it gives you the ability to get all the way around to the other side of the world. It's not as, because not everyone who's doing the simplified process is a Richie Rich. So it's not as regular guy friendly as, let's say, Singapore is, but you can open an account like SWP, and you could probably do that the day. They have their market makers, so you can buy and sell from them the same as you could do in some of the places in Singapore. That's not a recommendation for me. That's just an example, so you can see. The fees are higher, so you're storing the same amount of gold for extra cost unless you have business in the Caymans. I don't really see the advantage because you also have the slight chance of the Britain interfering with the Cayman Islands, since it is a British overseas territory. I don't think they would do that. I think they understand where their bread is buttered at the Cayman Islands. I don't think the UK would do that. And the UK is not in the EU, so you're still not under the thumb of Brussels either way. It is more Western leaning, but I don't think you have something to worry about. But it gets you, the millionth person to get Hungarian citizenship was a Serbian person. So you would have a Serbian passport, Hungarian passport, and you would have some gold stored in the Cayman Islands. You see where I'm getting at? You get to put more thumbtacks on the world. You have your money clear in another place across the world. If stuff hits the fan in Europe in the Eastern Hemisphere, you're in a completely different hemisphere, and you don't really need that much to start up with them. There's other places, higher end places, but I wanted to present and go find a place that's going to be more regular people friendly. Because I know there are some Richie Riches who probably watch this, but there might not be some. But I think everyone deserves to be able to store some gold and silver overseas. They just don't know where to do it. So if you're interested in the Caymans, you want to get some wealth in the Western Hemisphere, there you go. Just know it's more expensive. I think it's a little bit weaker of a jurisdiction, and I just think that you have more political risk in the Cayman Islands that you don't have in Singapore. So that's why it's number 2. And people are familiar with it, so I'm also keeping that in mind. Number 3 for me is going to be Israel. And in full disclosure, my Hungarian relative is Jewish. So I come from part Jamaican, part Hungarian Jews. So that person is Jewish, and I'm not picking Israel because they are Jewish. I'm picking Israel because I think it's a place to get you into Asia. It's a place that plays by their own rules. They might have some stuff going on that you might say, oh, that's crazy over there, but it's not the European stuff. It's not the Asian stuff. It's not the Taiwan stuff. It's their own stuff, So it's a country that does what's best for them. It's not that far from you. For how close it is and how different of an environment that it is, jurisdiction wise, I think it's a good place. I was in Tel Aviv recently. They have some good storage facilities there, and I think it's a kind of a slept on jurisdiction. I don't like it as much as Singapore. Singapore's probably my number 1 place. I think Cayman Islands is a little bit easier to open an account, but Israel is a strong place. It's close. You can go pick up your gold. Some people might be Hungarian Jewish, so you also have that. Um, if you're part Jewish, that could be part of your plan to store your gold there, make Aliyah, go over there. So that's a plan. But if you're not, it's still a good place to store your gold and silver, and you get the jurisdiction diversification, and it's not that far from you. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but I think that's a solid number 3. And number 4 is kind of a dishonorable mention for me. I know there's some people who are non-EU countries who are doing this, but number 4, and I wanted to put it on the list because it's Austria. I think there's some opportunities for you to store gold and silver and some other things in Austria. And I think for people like who are in Hungary or in Serbia or Romania, people who are close, and if Austria is a place that you're familiar with, you understand, you're comfortable with going there, trying it out, you could drive there. It's a place that you can honestly go in a day and come back. If you needed to feel and touch and talk to somebody, you can do it without that much time and money invested. You don't have to buy a plane ticket and find out, oh, I don't like this place at all. I think it's a good place for people who want to dip their toes in. It was part of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, if you're a history buff. So there's like some historical ties there. I think culturally, you'll probably be more similar to somebody from Austria than you probably will be from somebody from Singapore or somebody from Cayman Islands maybe, but like Israel probably. So I think culturally, it's not as, I don't want to say abrasive to somebody's like, first, I'm going to spend maybe some significant money to you, storing some gold and silver. I'm going to a place where everyone looks different, feels different. I get that. It's a scary thing for some people. So if you're somebody who's watching this and you're like, man, I'm going to go do Singapore. I looked it up. I checked everything that he was saying. And then Singapore is a great place. I'm going to put the money in there. But man, I really want my parents to do it too. Maybe they can't do Singapore. They don't feel comfortable enough doing it. They can do Austria. They can put some money in Vienna. So those are my 4. And so think about gold storage. You want to have this segregated gold storage. You want to have your own cubby inside the vault. You don't want to have everyone own part of one cubby that's inside the vault. So you want segregated gold storage. You have 2 options in most of these places. You can have the vault storage where you can buy gold from them, or you can come bring them or mail them your gold and they'll store it in, I'll just call it a cubby for you, and it'll be for you. You can come pick it up. You usually have to make an appointment or let them know you're going to come pick it up. You can pick it up and leave, or you could sell it and have the money wired to your account. Or you can have the safety deposit boxes. And if you have the safety deposit boxes, you can put your gold and silver in there. It's more anonymous. If that's what you want to do, you can go like pretty anonymous if you go to Austria. But what you lose out on the market making. If disaster is part of your plan, you can't really sell them the stuff that's in your safety deposit box if something were to hit the fan. But you get a little bit more anonymity, and you also get the ability to store, like if you're a crypto guy, put ledgers in there. If you want to put your Hungarian passport in there as your extra one, you want to go to Austria, pick up my Hungarian passport, and then get to Portugal. Whatever you want to do. But the safety deposit usually isn't going to have the same like level of insurance that like the vault is. Usually for the like reputable vaults, I haven't seen one without it really. There's going to be some type of insurance on what you have. Like they'll insure your quarter-ounce gold coin if something happens. But if something were to happen, how I've seen it is it's usually like they'll insure the safety deposit box up to a certain amount of money. So if you were to put, gold is really dense. So if you were to put one of those gold bars in there, you could fit that in there. But a gold bar is a couple $100,000. You're probably not going to get the amount of protection on the smallest safety deposit box, in which it probably will fit. But if you were to have a gold bar stored in segregated storage, they would have some type of insurance on that, and you have a better chance of recovering your money. But these places are pretty safe. With Austria, they've been doing this forever. So I don't think you have to worry about that too much, but it is something to consider. So if this interests you, let me know which place you're thinking about putting your gold and silver. You can also do platinum. But those are my 4 places that I think somebody who is a Hungarian, either by birth or by simplified naturalization, should consider. If you're interested in learning more, stay tuned, subscribe and like. And part 2, where I talk about bank accounts, will be releasing pretty soon.